Hello, and welcome back to Let's Get Lit. In today's chapter, we're going to be going through Chapter 8 of the Odyssey. Alright, are you guys ready? Alright, here we go. It's the next day, and both Odysseus and Alcinous get up and go to the assembly place, which was right by the ships. Meanwhile, Athena goes all through town disguised as a servant of Alcinous and speaks to everyone. She tells them that they should go and listen to the stranger talk. He's like an immortal god. She made all the people want to come and see Odysseus. Everyone gathers for the assembly, and soon the entire place was full. Everyone was amazed by the look of Odysseus, for Athena had enhanced his appearance. She made him look taller and stouter. That way he might impress the Phaeacians. They were soon going to challenge him to many a games of skill. Then the king spoke and tells everyone that the stranger has found a way to his house, that he wishes to have an escort home and have the matter settled. So, they'll prepare a ship for him, one that hasn't touched water yet. They will also give him a crew of 70 men to help him on his journey. Whoever volunteers can take a seat and then go to the king's house for a feast afterwards. He will have Demodocus sing. The volunteers for the boat went to the shore and got the boat ready and got it into the water. They then went to the king's house where he sacrificed a sheep and pigs and oxen. A servant led the blind singer and got him a seat and brought him his lyre. He then gets him a glass of wine to drink. After a while, when they all had a lot to drink, the singer starts to sing. He sings of the quarrel between Odysseus and Achilles, that Agamemnon was glad to hear this because when he consulted the oracle, she told him that this was the beginning of the evil Zeus had in store for them. Odysseus, hearing this, covered his eyes and began to weep. He didn't want the Phaeacians to see him weeping. The other men did not see him cry except for the king, who was sitting right next to him. When the men pressed the singer to sing further, the king saw Odysseus get upset. So he told the men that they should stop the singing and move on to the athletics, to boast to the stranger. That way the guest can return home. Everyone goes down to the assembly place and gets ready for the competition. Homer then goes on to list everyone who is going to compete. The race on foot was first, and the youngest son of the king won the competition. The middle son won the wrestling match, and the oldest son won the disc throwing. After the games were over, the oldest son asked if Odysseus excelled at any sports. He said that maybe Odysseus could show off a little and clear his mind. He reassures Odysseus that his ship is drawn. Odysseus respectfully tells them that he has suffered a great deal of tragedy and doesn't wish to participate. The youngest son starts to tease him and call him names. Odysseus calls him out and tells him that the gods give people certain gifts, but not all. He says that the gods gave him looks, but not brains. He then says that the youngest man's remarks have made him terribly angry, and he will compete now. He is so angry that he runs to the discs and grabs the biggest and heaviest one. He throws it, and it goes rushing over the crowd. It goes further than any disc of the Phaeacians, and Athena, disguised as an old man, goes to measure the distance. She throws shade at the Phaeacians, saying that no one could come close to that distance. Odysseus then challenges any man who wants to any form of physical competition. The only person he will not challenge is the host. He doesn't believe it's right. Anyone else is fair game. He then goes on to boast about how great he is at sports, and that the only sport he's not comfortable with right now is running, because he has suffered much by the sea and he doesn't feel ready. The king tells everyone that the time for games are over. He scolds his son for being arrogant and says it's time to now dance with music. He says that he hopes Odysseus remembers them for the good things that they've provided and not for the rude remarks. He has someone run to his house and get the lyre for the singer. A servant goes and fetches it from the house. Meanwhile, men prepared the grounds for dancing. When the servant came back, all of the men started to dance. The singer began to sing about the love between Ares and Aphrodite and all of the scandals that came from it. How Ares and Aphrodite slept in the bed of her husband Hephaestus, how he got jealous and he set a trap to catch them. He makes chains so small and strong that not even a god could see them, and he puts them all over his bed. Hephaestus pretends that he's leaving for a few days, and when he turns his back, Ares and Aphrodite sleep together in his bed, and they get stuck to each other. Hephaestus comes back and catches them. He keeps them in bed and calls for all of the other gods to come and look at them. The gods come and laugh at what had happened. Some gods try to make it into a joke, but Poseidon takes it seriously. He asks Hephaestus to let them go, but he refuses and says no. He says that he can't trust Ares to repay the damages that have been done. Poseidon tells him to let him go, and that if Ares does not repay him, then Poseidon will repay him himself. Hephaestus agrees to this and lets them go, and they fly away. Odysseus and the Phaeacians are charmed by this story. The king then has the best dancers dance, and they impress everyone, even Odysseus, who says to the king that he is very impressed. The king is happy with this and tells all of the councilmen that they should bring gifts to the nice stranger. Also, the youngest son of the king, who was rude to Odysseus, should also bring him a gift as well, that they should all give him their gifts together. The youngest son agrees, but also gives Odysseus his sword, telling him that he apologizes and hopes that there will be no ill will against him. He hopes that Odysseus makes it home back safe and sound. He knows that Odysseus has been through many hardships. Odysseus accepts the apology and thanks him. Odysseus wishes nothing but the best for him as well. The servants came back with all of the gifts, and the king then led the way back to the house and had all of the guests take a seat. The king asks his wife to get a chest and to put all the gifts into it. He tells her to draw warm water for him so that he may take a bath. The king also tells her to get a golden goblet so he can give it to Odysseus as a gift. She gets all of the things ready, and she packs the trunk. She shows O the trunk and tells him everything is in there. That way he won't think anyone has stolen from him. Odysseus seals the lid and then goes and takes a bath. He gets clean and anoints himself with oil. He then gets dressed and goes out to the party. He sees Nausicaa at the party, and she tells him not to forget her when he gets home, how she saved his life. He then tells her that when he makes it home, he'll tell everyone who he sees that she is his guardian angel who's helped him. He then sits next to the king, and he picks out a great piece of fat from the food and tells the servant to give it to the singer. He wants to honor the singer, even if he does great harm to him, for singers are to be respected. The servant gives the piece of fat to the singer, and he is grateful. Odysseus then compliments the singer and asks him to tell everyone of the tale of how the Achaeans built the wooden horse and how Odysseus got it through the gates. If he can, he will be ever in debt to the singer and tell of his greatness. Then everyone starts to eat and drink. The poet then goes on to tell the story with incredible accuracy. Odysseus is brought to tears, and he cannot help himself. The king also begins to cry. He then tells everyone that they should stop the singing. He can see that since the singer has begun, it has caused much distress to Odysseus. The king then asks Odysseus to tell him who he is. That way they can all know of him and his status. Also, so that they can know where to take him home. He says that their boats have no navigators, for their boats know where to go. He says that his father told him that one day Poseidon will wreck one of their ships on its way home from having escorted someone and will bury their city under a high mountain, but he isn't sure if that will happen or not. The king asks Odysseus to tell them everything about where he has been, what he has seen, who he has fought, and who he has lost. The king also asks if he has lost someone dear to him, whether in war or something else, because he's always sad when the singer sings about the Trojan War. Alright guys, this is the end of chapter 8. Thank you so much for listening, and we hope you guys will come back for more. Remember to like, share, and subscribe so you never miss an episode. Thanks, and have a wonderful day.